Anyway, what are we talking about? We're talking about my favorite fantasy movie, Willow. That's right, Willow, the one and only fantasy movie that features a two-headed dragon with Down syndrome. And this was breaking barriers. You know, this dragon had been trying to get work for years. Nobody was casting this dragon. And George Lucas said, how about that dragon over there? And they said, you want this dragon? Okay. He's like, it's got a weird look to it. And they're like, well, this dragon is special. It's a special dragon. You notice how big the forehead is on this dragon? And you notice how it's got the kind of that no jaw and then no cheekbone. It go forehead down the neck. This dragon got Down syndrome. They said, oh my gosh, I like it. And we're going to feature this in my new movie. And the guy said, what movie is it? He goes, it's called Willow. He's like, Willow, I heard about this movie. You're the guy who's been scavenging up all the little people in town. And George Lucas said, well, that's correct, sir. You know, I feel the little people need work just like anyone else. And he's like, but you really have to drive around in a garbage truck and use a mechanical arm to pick them up and throw them in the back. And he said, well, how else am I supposed to get them? He said, well, you could just have an audition and just welcome them all in there and treat them like real actors. And he's like, treat little people like real actors. So he goes to Steven Spielberg and he said, Steven, I've been going about this all wrong. Remember when we did Return to the Jedi and I said I wanted to get little people to play the Ewoks? And we spent all this money on this garbage truck with the mechanical arm, and I wrote on there for the little people with spray paint. And I was driving around, and I pick up the little people off the street and throw them in the back of the garbage truck. And he says, yeah, what's the problem? And I said, well, Steven, I was talking to this guy, this dragon tamer, and I bought a two-headed Down syndrome dragon for the movie. And, well, he's telling me that we should just have regular auditions for the little people. And Steven says, regular auditions for the little people? I never thought about that. Because, the garbage truck with the mechanical arm has been a long-standing tradition in Hollywood for the treatment of little people. It started with The Wizard of Oz. So they held regular auditions, but it just didn't look right. So they made sure that they installed little doors for the little people. And this is how Willow is breaking barriers.